In 4 games this past preseason, Russell Westbrook had 3 more turnovers than he did assists. Obviously, this is only preseason, so it's warranted that most of these superstars aren't going 100%, but being that Russ was labeled the primary facilitator/playmaker for this LA squad, this should still be a big warning sign for Lakers fans moving forward. Now, in my opinion, Russell Westbrook has all the potential in the world to be the perfect catalyst alongside 2 other dynamic and well-rounded running mates, like LeBron and Anthony Davis. But his abhorrent scoring game proves to be the Achilles heel of any team he plays for. And for this reason, I can't sit here and tell you guys that I think the Russell Westbrook experiment in LA will work. And in fact, I'm inclined to believe that this thing has a much lower floor than many people realize. So let's take a look at his last year's stats. Obviously, the 20-point triple-double is in itself incredible on paper, but it's very misleading due to the glaring inefficiencies he suffered. With a 50.9 true shooting percentage and a 47.4 effective field goal percentage, Russ was statistically the worst high-volume scorer in the league last season, considering that he finished bottom 10 in both of these categories and had the most field goal attempts out of anyone in either bottom 10. This effectiveness comes blatantly out of terrible shot IQ, forcibly taking highly contested looks, and all-around HBD, which I like to call hero ball disillusionment. It's not really surprising that in terms of quality of shots taken, he ranks in the bottom 30th percentile in the league. Now, I'll try to stray away from talking about his 3-point shooting because I don't want to beat a dead horse, but it is worth noting that his 3-point and mid-range shot quality are significantly higher than his overall shot quality. But his actual shot-making ability is simply absolute trash, which pretty much just explains his overall ineptitude as a shooter. Another interesting attribute of his is his incessant need to take so many ISO shots. Russ took 8.3 isolations per 75 minutes last year, and somehow managed to impact absolutely nothing with his ISO scoring / overall ISO offensive game. What all this leads me to tell you is that while, yes, Russell Westbrook is a premier playmaker, his flaws overshadow his strengths. Yes, he averaged 11.7 assists per game last year, which, by the way, comes from just a very, very, very large playmaking volume. But he also led the league in turnovers, and as we mentioned, he overzealously took far too many shots. This past preseason, a ridiculous amount of his turnovers came from him trying to force passes that came as a result of either A, him trying to get himself out of trouble, or B, him just being outright sloppy with his passes. Not to mention, he still looks indecisive as ever. Whatever the case may be, despite the fact that this Lakers team looks way too good to fail, my response would be to watch how much time Russell Westbrook gets with the ball in his hands, because it could prove to be absolutely fatal if he keeps taking low percentage looks.